The Mike Weatherford Show is proud to announce we are now officially powered by TEC. If their fiber optic internet service can handle everything we throw at it here in the studio, from videos to calls and live streams, you better believe they can handle your home or business too. If speed, stability, and service is important to you, you can count on TEC. Thanks, TEC. Now let's get to the show.
Recorded live in the studios of Brewer Street Mafia. This is a Red Dog Bread production.
And now, your number one rated show, The Mike Weatherford Show. Here's your host, Mike Weatherford.
Hey, welcome to the Mike Weatherford Show. I'm your host, Mike Weatherford. We got a great show tonight. It's a special edition show, if you want to call it that. I have got the Murray State speech and debate team live in the studio, and I got a couple of debaters. It's supposed to be the best ones. They're going to debate tonight live on the show. We're going to be talking about the National Guard going to these cities. Is it legal? Is it morally legal? Or is it just political? We're going to let these guys duke it out right here live on the Mike Weatherford Show, and we're going to see what you think. But remember, we've got polls out there. I want you, my viewer, to vote on these polls. Find them. They're in some of the comments somewhere. Find a poll. You probably got your mind made up on should the National Guard be there or should they not be there. Don't use that. Who you think did a better job of getting their point across? I've got one that's for it, one that's against it. Their job is to debate it, and I want you, my viewer, to help me pick out which one of them presented the best side of their argument. No, tonight I've got my special buddy. It always helps me when it comes to any kind of political, any debates, moderate, whatever you want to call it, the one and only Patrick Smith. Welcome to the show, Patrick.
Glad to be here, Mike.
How are you, my friend?
Well, I'm great. That was a great introduction.
Was it?
Yeah. Like I say, I never know
what I'm going to say.
What you're going to say, and that was good.
I never know. I don't take notes.
I know this. I know.
I don't take notes.
I
do got notes tonight.
Yeah.
Because I had to have questions to ask these guys.
But it's good to be here.
It is good to be here. It's exciting.
We're on the debate stage, and we've got world-class debaters.
We do have.
We usually don't have world-class debaters. We usually have just, politicians.
We got that and idiots. I get a lot
well,
of
I mean, you say.
Yeah.
I'll go along with what you say.
Yeah. My name's on the show.
That's right.
That's what I pay you for.
That's right. Hey. That's why I'm here. I'm happy to be here.
But you know what? Before we get started with the debate, I want to introduce someone that really got this thing started. And him and I had a conversation on the phone through another friend of mine, Ricky Price, matter of fact, got all this put together. And Mr. Ryan Goke is on the show here. He is a director of Murray State Speech and Debate Team. Welcome to the show, Doctor.
Well, thank you for having us. Glad to be here.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm wonderful, man. What do you think now that you got here? You see the setup. Last time you come in here and you and I talked and everything was asleep, right?
Super casual, yeah.
Yeah, and tonight it's been awake. It's different, ain't it?
It's a great setup. there's a lot going on here. It's great.
Yeah, when you say podcast, you think there's a couple of laptops flipped open. We do a little better than that.
We do.
And right sitting there beside of him is the student representative, Mr. Samuel Miller. How you doing, Samuel?
Good.
How are you, my friend?
Good. I'm excited to be on here. This is going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. The debater guys, you think they know what they're doing?
I hope.
Hey, we built them up.
Yeah. It'd be really bad if they
failed.
If they failed.
Yeah.
No pressure.
You're the president of the debate team, right?
Vice president. Caleb McCurran, who you'll see on later, is the president.
Oh, we got the president.
We got the
president.
I bring you the best of the best, Mike.
Wow,
here we
go.
The whole team's here. So.
Yeah.
Wow, you did bring the whole team.
I did. I sure
we
did.
have got a green room full of them.
We do.
I don't know if I brought enough pizza.
No, they've been putting it away. That's one way to get college students.
Well,
you get
that
pizza.
and Roman noodles. That brings them in, right?
Every time.
But Ryan, tell me a little bit about the debate team
Sure.
and the speech team in Murray State. You are a doctor professor at Murray State.
Sure am.
Tell me a little bit about yourself and what we can expect and what goes on.
Yeah. So I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Organizational Communication and Leadership. It is a mouthful. So half my duty is coaching the speech and debate team. So the speech and debate team has a couple of different things that it does on campus. We'll do things like coming up on November 6th, we will have our Dean's Debate Showcase. In the spring, we do the Provost Premier Showcase. We host tournaments for high schoolers, middle schoolers, and for college students. And then we travel, and the students compete at different schools. This weekend, we're going to Murfreesboro.
Got it on the board. Look there.
MTSU, and 7 p.m. That is open to the public, and we do plan to live stream it. So we'd love to have a lot of viewers. Yep.
Sure. How can we find it to live stream? Where's it at?
If you go to the Murray State Speech and Debate Facebook page or our Instagram or our website, it's all going to be there.
Explain to me and my viewers what debate is, being on a debate team, how that prepares you for your future and whatever profession you pick up when you come out of college.
That's a great question. So for the style of debate we do IPDA and NPDA, both are limited prep. So a lot of schools will do policy, Lincoln Douglas, where they've got the same case or maybe 2-3 cases all year. Every single round of every tournament that my students go to, it is a different topic. So they're assigned a side that they may not agree with, and they have to defend it. So they're forced to.
That's tough.
It is.
It is very tough.
That's the coolest part to me, Mike.
Man.
I mean, you have to be able to see the opposite side in order to participate.
I'm an old man. You know, if I don't believe in something, I don't know if I can.
It's hard.
Defend
It's
it,
hard.
dude. I mean, come on.
That's why they're better than us, right?
That's exactly why they're champions too, correct?
They are currently national champions.
There you go. We got some national champions right here.
Sure do.
So, you know, to be perfectly clear, I'm not going to debate them.
And neither am I.
I did one little old practice debate, and they said I didn't qualify. I don't know what that was all about, but that just fell through. But I did scare them.
You did a little bit.
I met the two gentlemen.
I had a great time watching that.
And we was talking a little bit, and I said, "Are y'all prepared?" And they said, "Sure." I said, "Well, I've changed the subject and the topic." And I think they both had a cardiac arrest.
Mouth just jaw drop.
But they was a little nervous because I don't know if they've ever been on TV before. I don't know if they have or not.
So.
That's, you know, the lights and cameras and all that on. I mean, I just want to liven them up. But anyway, you and I met through a good friend of ours, Ricky Price, which Ricky's involved with everybody. Ricky's my good friend. Yep. Shout out to Ricky. Donna, get well. I know you're watching. Donna, he was going to be here tonight, but I think Donna's on the weather. And we got a big deal we got to go to this weekend. So you get her healed up so her and Dana get down there and aggravate everybody. He knows what I'm talking about. But you and I talked on the phone, and we decided we would do a hybrid debate, I guess you would call it, because I've told you, I don't know if I've told anybody this or not, but I'm going to let you know, I am not a moderator.
That is the first I've heard of this.
That's really, I'm a conversationist.
Yes.
And,
got it.
But I am.
Got it.
Dr. Conversationist.
I got it. I got it.
Or
now.
Mr. Conversation.
Lord Conversationist.
Master. All them words of work.
Okay.
And I want Kevin to start playing the Hail to the Chief music when I come on.
My God. I was thinking the Darth Vader march or something.
Hey, that's even cooler. That's even cooler. But I'm here in the background talking back here. I have stirred up a hornet's nest, right? But anyway, you know, I think you and I are going to try to work together on future projects. Maybe we're going to see how tonight goes. I hope I don't let you down. And being all serious, I will switch gears and put it into serious mode. Yeah. Like I said, we do this, but we do it politically with people that's running for offices. And this subject really is a hot topic out there right now.
It is.
It's very hot topic. I mean, people, you know, they're losing friends over it, and there's arguments over it.
Sure.
You know, I don't know how many
neighborhoods are being divided.
Sure. There's protests everywhere over it. And probably going to be some Thanksgivings that ain't going to have the full crowd there this year.
And I think what you'll find is that some people have maybe partially baked conceptions of what's going on.
They do.
And what's really a skill that's essential that's taught to my students through this is you have to dig deep. Like you have to figure out not just is this constitutional, is this something that can be done, but then convince people that this is the best way to do something. There's a lot of moving parts.
You can carry that skill. I showed y'all a little bit earlier what I do for a living. This is a hobby. You know, I spend money to do this. I don't make money doing this. I'm spending my child's inheritance. Dang.
We're enjoying it too.
They are. They not. They're complaining.
No, we are.
Every time my daughter writes a check for some equipment, she says, "Dad, what are we doing? I thought we had all of this." I said, "No, that's new fandangled product come out. I need one." You know. But anyway, I showed him what I do for a living, which is a trade. in debating, I can see I use it in my life working with customers because you have to debate kind of like you have to have. I call it conversation with people, explain to them what's wrong with their automobile, and them telling you what they think it was doing. And I think this skill of debating can be used in a numerous fields, whatever they decide to do in life.
Yeah.
It's very, I've never was taught debating. We called it argument. We ended up in a fist fight when I was growing up.
Exactly. Bloody nose or
Oh,
something.
yeah, that's how you knew the winner.
That's how you figured it out.
Yeah, if you broke 3 of my bones and I broke 4 of yours, I'm the winner.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's the way it is.
Well, and the important thing to remember with this particular team is it's not just communication majors. I've got history majors. I've got education majors. I've got people who do vet techs that want to go into the med field. I've got people, medics that want to do stuff like it's very varied, and this teaches you the skills that you need to work with people in whatever your field is.
And I think they knew the subject beforehand. They know what we're going to debate. And they're prepared for it, but they do not know the questions.
They do not know the questions.
That's right. And they're subject to change as we go because they can dig rabbit holes.
They sure can.
And I'm very good at exploring rabbit holes. And so if they answer a question, I might even turn my notes over and just start getting in that rabbit hole. But I don't know what you would call our debate. It's not none of your letters you was using a while ago, IDD or whatever them was. This is just a
It's it's your debate style, and I like it. It moves. We move through a lot of topics.
We do, and I make them think.
You do, and I'm excited for them to make this conversational.
Sure,
right? Because my belief as their coach is, if you lose a round, it doesn't matter if it was a policy judge or what we call a lay judge, somebody who's not as familiar with technical stuff. If you can't convince them, you didn't do your job. So they're going to learn how to convince your viewers that they're right in a conversational way. So it's a great skill for them to incorporate.
Yeah, I can agree, Patrick. You've helped me a lot doing debates. We're not going to change our style.
No.
We're just going to change the questions.
We're just going to change the questions, and we've got people that actually know what they're talking about.
That's right.
Actually, this time that are giving answers.
Well, we don't set landmines usually. They just find them.
They find them.
Yeah, but
boy, they do.
They can find them, and I don't think these guys tonight are. But anyway, we're getting pretty close. I think they're back there yodeling, getting ready.
They're
getting warmed up.
And don't forget, we've got a poll. Say it again in my ear, Kevin. Yeah. He reads my mind. We've got this poll coming up. I want you to find this poll right here. And what I want you to do is after the debate's over, I want you to decide who you think come across the best, who you think got their point across the best. It doesn't necessarily mean they have to agree with you. You may be for it, but the other team had a better way to explain it. If that happened, go with them, because we need the winner on this thing needs to set by who did a good job. Because if you look at national polls, it's about a 50-50 split, 60-40, 50-50, somewhere in that area about who likes it, who doesn't like it. And I don't want this straw poll tonight to be this way. I want it to be who did the best job presenting their facts. And you, my viewer, it's up to you to do like I do. Try to stay neutral and just do what you think presented. It doesn't mean – yeah, there it is right there. There's a QR code. You can pop it in. There's numerous ways to find it. Find the poll, or the poll will be up after we go off the air too. It's not going to end then, but we might know a little bit of where it's going. You can vote anytime. But like I said, please, if you would, only vote on who you think did the best job of presenting their side of the argument, not who you agree with.
Right.
And I have that question asked to me a lot on some of the shows I do. Mike, what do you think? Well, what I think doesn't matter.
Yeah. And we talked about this beforehand, and going through this style is that what we want is like we would ask a politician, because these it would be like they're running for an office. Right. Who are you going to put in office? Whether you like the topic or not, which one are you going to vote for?
That's exactly right. That's right. And I wish one thing, I had some brakes on this darn barber stool. Like, it's pretty cool. They're pretty neat.
I like it.
They're expensive ones, but they don't fit my hind end like my big comfy chair does. So anyway, we're getting ready to start. We're fixing to introduce to you here in just a second the debaters. We're going to get it done, and once we're done with the debate, it should run around 30 minutes or so. If it goes good, you know me, I will keep it going till I think we got the good out of it. Then we're going to come back, and we're going to bring Dr. Goke back and Samuel, and we'll find out what they think.
Get their thoughts on it.
Get their thoughts. So right now, we're bringing in the debaters. It's going to be a great one, man.
It is. I'm looking forward to it. The kids, the young adults that we've got here, gentlemen that are going to be debating, they came prepared. They've been studying on the topic. And that's part of what they do with their IPDA, their debate team. They'll give one a topic on history. They'll give another one on legal, and helps them prepare. But now they've got to do it on their own out here in front of us.
There you go. All right, folks, we're getting ready to start this so-called debate, generic debate that Mike and Patrick puts on. And I want to introduce to you first. He is going to be on my left. We flip coins, and we'll tell you what the coin toss meant. I want to introduce to you. We're still working on something. Hold tight just a second. They're getting these guys in their seats. When they got them where they want them, they'll tell me. I've got a great team behind me.
They're doing good. They're treating everybody first class.
They are.
Better than we treat the politicians.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I treat them all well. I got pictures of me and the politicians around here. All right, introducing first is Caleb McCurlin, right? How do you say your name? Right there. How do you say that name? McCurlin. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. Who are you and what you do?
I am a senior at Murray State University. I'm a psych major.
A what?
A psychology major.
Got you.
Sorry. And thinking about switching over to doing a master's degree after this next year in organizational communication with Dr. Goke as a grad assistant. That's about it.
Right. Where are you from originally?
Oh, Paducah, Kentucky.
Paducah, because you're kind of a local guy. Yeah. Well, are you ready to go?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Well, there you go. All right. Introduce his challenger, maybe?
His challenger, yeah.
Challenger is Mr. Colton Boyd. Welcome to the show, Colton.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Tell me a little about yourself. Who are you?
Yeah, I'm from Simpsonville, Kentucky, just outside of Louisville. I am currently a double major in physics and mathematics at Murray State, and I'm a freshman. This is my first year on the team, and I'm just excited to be here. Good friends with Caleb, and hopefully we'll have a good debate today.
Right. Maybe it won't be no bloody nose.
Hopefully not,
All right.
I'm pretty pumped. I didn't realize we had a STEM student on the debate team. Wow.
And
Yay. Just got
you
better.
are the president. Which one of y'all is you're the president.
Yes.
President of the debate team. Wow. You better hold your gun.
Yeah, I gotta.
Big shoes to fill. All right. Are y'all ready?
You want?
All righty.
Which one went first?
He goes first.
Yeah.
All right. The authority of the president versus the government to command troops, the legality of federalization and deployment of out-of-state units without a state's consent, and whether these deployments violate the Posse Comitatus Act by involving troops in law enforcement duties. Other questions involve a specific legal authority cited for deployment, whether troops have deputized status for law enforcement, their specific mission, and the use of force policy, and their overall cost. So our subject and topic will be National Guard into cities. We're going to start with you. Can the president commandeer a state's National Guard when the governor has not deployed them? This is an issue that has not been ruled on by the Supreme Court.
Okay, so there are ways that the president of the United States can do that. There's, according to the U.S. Code, it's just basically a groundwork of how the military can be deployed, and the National Guard is a branch of the military. Essentially, the U.S. Code lays out in different titles different things that can conduct the National Guard. And so what's happened now is the president has authorized the National Guard to be federalized under Title 10, which is perfectly within the president's grounds to legally do so.
What do you say?
Right. So currently with the titles that Caleb has outlined, under Title 10, the president is allowed to federalize the National Guard, and it's important to say without the governor's consent. So he could tell, example, for Texas's National Guard, even if the governor didn't want them to be federalized, they don't have a say in it. And with that comes the reason for doing so is why are we going ahead and federalizing without the consent of the governor? So it's important to look at the motive behind why the current administration is doing this. And with him doing this, he's essentially sending them to cities that maybe the governor would not have agreed with originally to kind of go over these protests and go over this unrest that he's deeming in order to kind of better fit his agenda. So while it is technically allowed under the Constitution currently, because of that Title 10, there is going to be a lack of authority that they hold versus like what normally the police could conduct with arresting and doing all of that. So they can go in there and almost act like a peacekeeping force, but they're not allowed to basically conduct any authority that the local officials would be able to.
So a little bit of what you were saying, the legal authority for the deployment is critical, especially when the president is deploying troops into a state against the governor's will. Under what legal authority are the troops operating?
So it's important to note, as I said, the troops are essentially there right now under Title 10 as a peacekeeping force. So they are going to areas where there are high levels of protests and potential unrest, and they're essentially making sure that everybody is safe. There's no destruction of property or, people are getting hurt. But what they can't do currently is they are not allowed to arrest anybody or have anybody charged for what they deem, is illegal or whatever. So while they are being deployed to these places, what we're seeing is that basically they are essentially there and making sure people don't get hurt, but they're not solving the issues that the president is claiming that they're going to do. So they're sending them there under the guise of the president and saying, well, we're going to go here, we're going to lower crime, and we're going to end up basically getting the people that shouldn't be on the streets that are committing illegal acts off of them. But the National Guard does not have the authority to do that.
Title 10, I'm going to give you just a second. The president can federalize the National Guard under Title 10, but does this automatically grant the authority to deploy them into a non-consenting state without invoking the Insurrection Act? Does it allow it?
So it does allow it with that stipulation that Cole just mentioned. They aren't technically allowed to detain or to perform the actions of a police force. So that's not necessarily what they're there to do, though. We have to keep our minds off of that. We're not saying that they're there to strictly act as a police force to arrest people. That's not the case. They are sent to specifically, currently, federal buildings, ICE agencies, to protect them, to protect the people inside. That is what the current orders are for.
So that's where the federal Title 10.
Yes, they are protecting federal land.
That is, okay, I understand. Patrick?
We're going to shift back to the ICE agents, and you brought that up, and so I'm going to move this back over to Colton. For many in cities like Memphis, these troops are visible. For many others, another unknown number of ICE or federal agents are operating silently. How do you separate law enforcement from domestic military presence, and should the Constitution allow such ambiguity?
So kind of with what you were alluding to, right now, currently the National Guard that is being deployed, they are noticeable, they are in uniform, and they are outside of these federal buildings, as Caleb mentioned, in order to kind of protect people and make sure that everyone is safe. However, a main reason why people are upset with ICE, and a big reason what you alluded to, is they are currently operating without showing their identities. So with the way that ICE is currently being used, they are essentially carrying out their duties, and most of them are wearing masks. They are not disclosing their identities, which is a lot and really different from what you would see with like a normal cop on the street, right? They have their badge number, you can see their face plain as day, and they're explaining to you why they're doing these things. But with ICE, we're not seeing that anymore. They are covering their identity because they are afraid of essentially the backlash that we're seeing today. Because they're taking these precautions and covering their identity, they're essentially taking people off of the streets, and some would argue, in a manner that's not right and fit for what ICE should be doing. And people are scared, and them kind of hiding their identity is what is kind of ramping up this kind of escalation.
Caleb, similar question back to you. Is this presence of federal agents, federal embedded or alongside these National Guard troops without identification, is that justified?
So that's not necessarily what we're talking about here today. So that is a great thing to point out the reason why these people are protesting. That is the reason they're protesting. That is a little disconnected from the concept of the National Guard, though. The National Guard is being called in to protect these buildings, and I can agree and say ICE agents shouldn't always be masked, and they shouldn't be always as ambiguous as they are, while still saying that the National Guard being deployed is a perfectly reasonable thing for the president to do.
Who's making the arrests? Who is making the arrests with the deployment of these federal troops then, if it's not the ICE agents or whatnot, because that's a big contention, that it's going in and making it safer, and that arrests are being made. So is the National Guard's presence encouraging those arrests? Are they performing those arrests, or are these ICE agents, again, that are actually embedded that are doing this?
So are you talking about arrests
as a result of sending in federal troops into these cities?
Okay. So the arrests, sending in the federal troops into the cities, you mean the National Guard, right?
I mean, they are federalized troops.
Okay, yes. So the National Guard being sent in, it's not escalating in the sense that people think that escalating happens. So what happens is the National Guard currently is deployed in Portland, Chicago, and Memphis. It is deployed in Memphis jointly with the governor of Tennessee, correct me if I'm wrong, Bill Lee. And so they're not a mystery police. The National Guard is not a mystery police. A lot of people who are saying these masked people should not be making these arrests, that's not the National Guard. That is ICE. And so that's why I was a little confused, because your question was about arrests being made at protests, which turn into riots. Is that what you're talking about?
Arrests as a result of federal agents in cities.
Okay, yes. So eventually, with enough people and enough news coverage, protests turn into riots, and then those riots are being deterred currently by the National Guard. And the National Guard is not necessarily masked. They are also not usually performing detainment of these people. That is simply if they are to have something thrown at them, which has happened before.
This is for both of y'all. Unlike California and Tennessee, the governor, because you brought it up, the governor has deployed the National Guard. How does that change your opinion, being it's in your own state?
So that changes a few things. First of all, obviously, we're seeing a little bit more trust between the Tennessee governor along with President Donald Trump, which ultimately is a good thing. If we're able to agree between state and federal governments, that's most of the time going to result in positive things. Going back to like the reason why they're being deployed in the first place to these federal facilities, we're looking at this was performed by the governor in correspondence to President Trump urging it, which is allowed currently by U.S. code. Basically, it's being backed by the federal government for the National Guard to be there. When they're going into these cities, as he said, the National Guard is not necessarily the one making the arrests. What's important to note here is that ICE is their main job, for anybody that doesn't know, is to detain people who violate certain immigration laws and things of that nature. So that's almost a separate conversation. The National Guard is being deployed here, and we're seeing help for the local police force that is there. And with the Tennessee governor basically saying, yes, that's okay, it's been a lot smoother sailing in Tennessee.
Does it help you, Benz, that the citizens of Memphis tend to lean more toward wanting the National Guard there?
Right. And then, like, that's another thing. So if you look at California.
We're talking about National Guard.
Mm-hmm. Right. So California, along with their governor's viewpoint, a lot of citizens there, especially in the larger cities, are not as much in favor of the National Guard being deployed there. Mm-hmm. And again, in Memphis, it's different, where you see people from the Tennessee area. They are more in favor versus California.
Could it be Republican versus Democrat? Could that be the reason why California is predominantly a Democrat state, Tennessee predominantly a Republican state? Are you seeing politics play out?
Definitely. And I think it's important to note, again, politics just generally across the United States, larger cities are oftentimes more Democratic. So we're seeing a lot of resistance in California and Portland to the National Guard coming in, and that's a lot of politics, right?
Caleb, to ask you go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to just point out for just a second, if you look at Memphis on an election map, it is like the bluest little dot in a corner of a state you will ever see. So maybe not playing too much into like a Tennessee versus California, because Memphis is just as blue as LA when it comes down to voting. And so, but like Cole said there, yes, it's not necessarily that these are politically targeted deployments. It's just that cities that have protests that turns into riots tend to be Democratic cities.
There you go. My question was to him, I'm going to ask you, unlike California and Tennessee, the governor has deployed a National Guard. How does that change your opinion?
Well,
or does it?
It changes it a little bit. It makes me a little more accepting of it. However, the mayor of Memphis has expressed that that Memphis doesn't want the National Guard there.
The government or the people?
The mayor of Memphis said that the people don't want the National Guard there, but the National Guard is there deployed. It's actually deployed under Section 32.
That's right.
Which does allow, which is under the governor of Tennessee. It's not been federalized. So whether we can say that is political, that is now an argument between like the city government of Memphis and the state of Tennessee. That's not even really involving the federal government.
Caleb, you brought up Title 32. In its hybrid status, the Guard performs a federal mission, is paid with federal funds, but remains under the control and command of the governor. The President or Secretary of Defense can request this, but the governor can refuse. How does the President stay within his legal authority and still get this done? You understand my question?
No. Could you reframe? I'm sorry.
I sure will. The Guard performs a federal mission under Title 32.
Yes.
Is paid with federal funds, but remains under control and command of the governor.
Yes.
The President or Secretary of Defense can request this, but the governor can say no.
Yes.
How does the President stay within his legal authority and still get that done, get the Guard in them states under Title 32?
So the governor can say no to the President requesting it, but the President does not have to request it. The President can operate under Title 10 or a lot of...
We're talking about Title 32.
Oh, so under Title 32 specifically?
Yes, so let me go back again. I may have confused you. Let me apologize. Title 32.
Yeah.
Do you mean repeat what I said, or do you remember what I said?
No, I get it now.
Okay.
So...
I'm sorry if I confused you.
No, it's fine. It depends on where you're talking about. So in Memphis, it is Title 32. In Portland and Chicago and California, it is Title 10. And so, what was the question again?
How does the President stay? Okay, in Title 32, if he wants to go far-fetched scenario,
Yes.
Governor Lee says no,
Okay.
but Memphis says yes. He uses Title 32, and he comes in and does it. How can he get this done and stay within his legal authority using Title 32 as his reason for going in?
Well, if the governor says no,
Right.
he can't use Title 32.
Okay.
That would have to be a Title 10.
That's
and
that's where I'm going with my
yes,
question. Okay.
Yes. But the governor did welcome in the National
Sure.
Guard to Memphis.
Yeah.
And so it is under 32, which is just politically safer.
Yeah. Same question to you.
Yeah. So, like Caleb said, currently in Memphis, which is the unique city that's doing this, the president is basically sponsoring, the federal government is sponsoring the National Guard under the command of the current governor of Tennessee. So in Tennessee's case, obviously we have some more cooperation there. We have the governor basically allowing these troops to come in, and the federal government is funding it.
One more.
Just something I want to note is that normally when we see Title 32, a lot of this comes from traditionally disaster relief and things of that nature, where the state might not have the funds to help people in those disasters, so they use federal funding, which is the main point.
Explain the limitations, both of y'all. This is to both of y'all. Who talks first gets to go first. Explain the limitation on National Guard's law enforcement actions under Title 32.
So the limitations, there are less limitations under Title 32. The National Guard can operate in more ways when it has been authorized so by the governor of a state. Each state has an individual National Guard. And so it is typically used for disaster relief and in conjoinment with FEMA if the disaster is disastrous enough. There are restrictions for Title 10. Do you want me to talk about Title 10?
32.
32 specifically, okay. There are fewer restrictions for Title 32 than there are for Title 10. We're just not seeing a lot of states.
There is limitations.
Yes.
That's what I'm asking about. Explain the limitation of Title 32, what he can, where he has to stop at, and then he can go into Title 10 maybe. But where does Title 32, where does it stop at? What is the limitations that the president uses when he enacts Title 32?
Yes. So
I'm sorry if I told you I'm
so
not
sorry. So
He's a conversationalist.
Yeah.
not a moderator.
That's right.
Okay. So the limitations are typically that the governor usually appoints the head of a state's National Guard. It's called the adjunct governor. The adjunct, I want to say something like that. TAG is what it stands for. And they are in charge of what the National Guard will do at a state level. Whenever it is overridden, whenever the National Guard is federalized, then they're no longer calling the shots. Then they are under the control of the president and the president's orders. So right now, everything that's happening in Memphis is currently being run through the governor, through the adjunct general. And so their limitations are far less limited, basically.
Same question. If you want to go with him on that, answer what you think the limitations of the National Guard under Title 32. Title 32 is a broad one now. It can be used for other things than just crime control. There's disaster reliefs and all that.
Right. So as kindly Caleb said, we're talking about Tennessee here with the ability for the governor to appoint that leader, and then that leader is going to be the one that is deciding the major moves the National Guard is going to make. It's important here that the limitations that we would normally see for a federalized National Guard are not present here. So talking about like the Posse Comitatus Act and things of that nature, we're not going to see those same level of restrictions because there is a more systematic way of calling out the National Guard for what they need to do. So this is normally a state affair for the National Guard, and it's only when they're federalized is they're listening to the president here. So we have a more organized system when the Title 32 is in place, and there are going to be less restrictions because there's that framework there that we already have established outside of these like disaster relief scenarios and outside of the reasons that they're in there right now.
I want to come back to you, Colton. This is maybe a moral question if you want to have the framework for where this is coming from. The government, the federal government right now is in the middle of a shutdown.
Correct.
And come November 1st, SNAP benefits are going to no longer be distributed. We already have federal employees who are not receiving their paychecks. And we've been talking about blue states. We've been talking about Memphis being a blue dot in a red state. What's the moral justification of pushing forward with federalized troops in a government shutdown to primarily blue cities that have they're primarily the ones that are receiving those SNAP benefits?
So it's important to talk about here with the government shutdown. Members of the military are not getting paid currently. They will receive their pay once the shutdown is foretold, and they're going to end up with that pay. But right now we're not seeing that. And it's kind of a question where people are going to start losing their SNAP benefits. We don't have people in the military being paid. And it's almost this kind of situation where all of this is going to amount to more unrest within cities, whether it's blue, whether it's red, because ultimately around 40 million people are going to be losing these SNAP benefits. And regardless of whether other people like it or not, they're going to have to eat. So we're going to see a lot more unrest here, where people are going to start getting angrier with this if this government shutdown continues, and we're going to potentially see more mobilization in the National Guard to deal with that. So it's almost like a butterfly effect where we see, well, troops aren't getting paid, we're seeing the SNAP benefits potentially getting cut, and it's kind of going to basically pile up until we can't handle it anymore.
Caleb, to you, same question. Is it morally justifiable to pay federal troops and to potentially not be paying these SNAP benefits in these very same cities that these troops are going into?
So I'm going to say no. It's not morally justifiable to do that in that way. So what's happened is, and I like to say people are about 6 meals away from revolution, which is the case. People need food to eat. That is no doubt. But what we're talking about here is even if the National Guard wasn't federalized and it was still on standby, they wouldn't be being paid regardless of where they are, federalized or not, deployed or not. They would still not be getting paid. They're going to get back pay when the government eventually reopens. Cross your fingers. But regardless of where they are, deployed or not, they wouldn't be getting paid during this time. And the civil unrest, I think, will just be on the rise, which is all the more reason that the National Guard should be where the civil unrest is going to happen. They're there for deterrence. They're there to show a presence and to show that, hey, don't be doing illegal things here. We have the ability to do that.
I want to come back and follow up on this, just one more round on this particular topic, Mike, because I don't know that I kind of came across clear either. So
they're smart, aren't they?
They're very smart. Yeah. There's a difference between being able to provide back pay versus being able to provide back food.
Yes.
That's the moral question that I'm asking.
Well, if
the federal, because again, federal government goes beyond this November 1st, these troops are still going to get back pay. They're going to be paid. The people that are losing the SNAP benefits won't get back food benefits.
So yes, SNAP is extremely important. The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, it's very important. Like Cole said, 42 million people are going to not receive their November funds. It's not really very related to the National Guard being deployed. I think that's why I might have been a little confused, because that's going to happen regardless if the government doesn't reopen, which is also a separate thing.
Let me, again, I'm going to pick them back up here, Mike. I'm going to move over here to Colton. What do you think? I mean, would it be right? Would it be right for the federal troops to get back pay and for people to go hungry during that time, during a federal shutdown?
I think on both ends, we're not doing any good here. For the federal shutdown, at the end of the day, we're never going to want a federal shutdown. And for the unfortunate part is, if it continues until November, we are going to see those benefits gone. And at that point, while yes, National Guard members are still going to get paid, as you said, that's not the case for everyday people. And regardless of if you know somebody that's on SNAP benefits or if you know what it is, people aren't going to care whether or not the National Guard is going to be in these cities. That's not their main concern. At the end of the day, we need to look at what is going to take priority first. Is it going to be whether people are feeling more comfortable and protected by the National Guard, or whether they have food on their plate for their families? I mean, these people are working 40-hour work weeks, and it's still, struggling to make ends meet. So it's important to note and kind of look at which needs to come first. Do we need to look at National Guard, or do we need to look at SNAP benefits? And I think that's kind of explanatory.
Thank you.
Caleb, can a National Guard be used for domestic law enforcement? If so, under what authority? If not, why?
It can be used for domestic law enforcement under Title 32. That is one of the things that it can be used for. It technically cannot be used for law enforcement, which, it just says police work, which is very broad and ambiguous, but it cannot technically be used for that under Title 10. The issue then comes, what's the difference between the president deploying the National Guard federally under Title 10 versus the Insurrection Act? It would be essentially the exact same outcome. It's just a different title. It's just a different code. It's like the pedantics and the semantics of our federal government. It's very broad. It's very interpretable by courts.
Colton, where does the federal power end and the state authority begin?
Right. So it's an important question to know. Currently, other than we see in Tennessee, the president has used Title 10 to federalize this National Guard. And as Caleb talked about, there is an act in Title 10 that is called the Insurrection Act. This essentially gives the president and the National Guard the authority to operate under a policing standard and perform those actions because of civil unrest or because of some national emergency where the presidency feels that America is under attack or there is some kind of insurrection going on. And we see this movement where we're not necessarily talking about, well, the governor signing off on this and, there's still, the governor could have refused in the first place. The president can do this, and there's really not a legal framework for how you outline national emergency. And what we're going to see is if the presidency and this current administration can kind of move that rhetoric towards there is a crisis going on and we see more and more National Guard being deployed, we're almost moving towards a state in which this is going to become normalized across the country in combination with those SNAP benefits not being received. If the Insurrection Act is essentially used by the president, we're going to see a collapse of trust between the state and the federal government, which is really important, and which is why we see it more successful in Tennessee currently, because under Title 32, they're working together.
This is a question that's probably going to be strictly your opinion. Are we as a country so divided that we pick sides on an issue like the National Guard and make our judgment solely on which side of the political party we support.
Yes, it is absolutely to that point. We are so blue versus red. And I think being in the speech and debate union has really helped me step away from my political beliefs and just think about issues.
Yep.
So this issue in particular, when we look at LA and the federal guard being federalized in LA, those protests turned into riots, turned into the LAPD saying that these are unlawful assemblies way before the National Guard got there, 2 days before the National Guard was deployed. And so, but we're so quick to just look at what we see on the news and look at what whoever is telling us what, and then just immediately agree. We don't think on issues, we think red, blue.
Same question.
Right. I would definitely agree with Caleb on that one. Now, especially with the tension we're seeing in the current administration, we're looking at red versus blue more than ever. We're looking at, well, you support this side, so we're essentially demonizing you for your political viewpoints, which at the end of the day is not right. Me and you could disagree politically on everything there is, but at the end of the day, we're still Americans. We still go to work. We have families. We live near each other. And what we're seeing is we're moving away from that. And it's important to note that you can have differing political opinions. You cannot agree with one side. But as we see this movement towards red versus blue, I can't agree with you on anything. We just have to remember back to the fact that we are Americans.
Great point.
I'm going to come in sideways with one last one. So public opinion, public polls, Mike brought this up at the beginning. It depends on where you look at, whether it's 40, 60, 50-50, 70-30. But nonetheless, public opinion is split on this mission. And in the end, the executive branch is defining this. Is this considered constitutional, or is this considered executive overreach?
So you're talking about with
what's happening under everything, wrap it all together with what's going on, no matter how they're deploying.
Yep.
But is it executive overreach?
So far, currently, the federal government has abided by those laws that they have in place. Now, just like an example, in Portland, there was a judge that blocked the National Guard from coming into Portland initially, and this is still ongoing. So we see that states have the power to contest whether it is legal or it isn't. And it's important to note that. When they were initially coming into Oregon, this was trying to be invoked under Title 10, but this judge deemed that there was not enough evidence to support a need to use Title 10 and to bring in the National Guard. So while currently we're seeing the president and the administration operating under constitutionality, the states are going to continue to challenge that if it gets out of hand.
Caleb? Is it executive overreach, or is it constitutional?
It's perfectly constitutional currently. I think the outcry from saying it is executive overreach is coming from that blue versus red issue. And so there are people who are never Trump people who will not take into consideration any policy that Trump will put forth. And I'm not saying that they're necessarily wrong for that, but it's that mindset of red versus blue. But I agree with Cole. Everything so far under the titles that we've laid out it has been done legally.
Question to you, Colton. Same question to you. What we hear on TV, what the news media is saying, to explain to me what is the specific mission of the deployed National Guard. What is it? Not what you hear, but what is their specific mission that they're being deployed for?
So currently, under all the titles we have, under the code that's in place, the reason that they're being deployed under Title 10 and Title 32 is to act as peacekeeping force to areas which are under high crime rate, or we've seen riots or protests come out. And essentially what we're seeing is they're moving to these places where these ICE detention facilities are, which people don't like, or these people in these cities, I should say. And what we're seeing is they're essentially protecting these ICE employees and their facilities against these protests, against these riots, because people in these cities don't agree with them. And whether you agree or disagree with the actions ICE is taking, currently they're just being deployed in order to kind of manage this, not necessarily make arrests. because that would be unconstitutional. But right now, they're just trying to make sure that people aren't hurt, that property isn't damaged. And whether you agree or disagree with the underlying reason for the protests, right now we're just seeing them as peacekeeping force, and they're not violating the Constitution.
Remember the question, or do you need me to repeat it?
Well, one more time. Yeah.
What is specific mission of the deployed troops? What is their, no matter what the news media tells you,
Yeah.
because we can get either side, what is their exact mission?
Their exact mission right now is to guard, like Cole said, guard these federal buildings. So what happened was there were protests outside of the federal buildings. It was one courthouse, I believe, in LA,
Yeah.
and then the rest were ICE detention centers. They were basically jails for immigration and customs enforcement.
Yep.
And so, like Cole said, whether or not you agree with what's going on with
That's what I'm asking.
they are just there to guard the people inside in conjunction with the police, the local police. LAPD was involved in LA, and then the National Guard came in to help them. They're more trained. They are militarily trained, and they have bigger shields. They have the ability to block these because people were throwing things yeah.
We had a coin toss. We flipped a coin toss. Who gets to convince me first? I wanted you lost, so you get to convince me. You get to go. Convince me and Patrick, I'm your humble host, and the millions of people watching you around the world.
Okay.
Millions.
Why
Millions.
your side, your opinion, is the correct one.
No pressure.
No pressure. Everything that has been done by the president so far has been done in terms of federalizing the National Guard has been done legally. And so this outcry that we're seeing that it's executive overreach, that is where we're getting political. We are seeing a one side versus another side. It's ultimately going to end up being should the people face off against the police in the streets without any backup, or should we send the National Guard perfectly legally and then figure it out in the courts? Because there is no precedent for this. And so we need to figure it out in the courts.
Colton, same question. Convince me, Patrick, and the millions of people watching you around the world why your side, your topic, your opinion is the correct one.
Right. So, again, whether you disagree or agree with the protests that are happening, we have to take a step back and almost look at the Band-Aid effect that the National Guard is serving. Yes, they're going there and protecting these federal buildings from damage and from people getting hurt. But we have to look at why is this happening in the first place. We need to look at why there's crime. We're not addressing the root cause here. And along with the government shutdown and essentially what's leading up to more and more unrest, it's hard to essentially say that we should be sending in the National Guard because all we're doing is increasing that unrest. We're not solving the root issues. And that's the important thing we need to look at today.
Fair enough. That is
Good
your
job.
Ending. That is your ending.
Thank you, gentlemen.
We opened up
Yeah,
a
good
lot
job.
of rabbit holes.
Yeah.
I think I could have come down, but I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but I'm not a.
You're more of a conversationalist.
Yeah,
if I was
yeah,
to,
you're
if I were to
not.
rank
I
you
couldn't have told you.
somewhere.
Couldn't have
Are
told
you
you.
sure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think y'all did an excellent job, and it's up to the viewers now
That's right.
to go find the polls and tell us who you think won this, not by what you believe. Now, be neutral, like Patrick and I. We both have our opinions, and they're strong opinions. But I want you, the viewer, to go find these polls and vote who you think presented their side the best tonight. Colton, I appreciate you, young man. I see you having a very bright future in whatever you want to do.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We got it set up pretty right with him on your side because you and him are long-winded.
Oh, my
His
goodness.
question and your answers was,
Oh, man.
Little
me and
stab
poor,
right
me and poor
Yeah.
Caleb on
Yeah.
this side, we had to fight for our time,
Yeah.
did we not? But I think you've got a great future, and I appreciate you coming in, and makes me proud, Patrick, that we've got a younger generation coming up behind us that's really involved in what's going on in the world.
It really is.
It makes me feel better. Caleb, same thing to you. You're a very smart guy, and I think you've got a great future in whatever you want to do. You articulate your message very well, and I think you're passionate. I can see it in your eyes. You was using your hands. When you do that, it's kind of passionate to me, and it does make me feel well that the younger generation is involved and know what's going on. I didn't challenge you hard. I could have.
I pulled one out of the weeds. I probably shouldn't have.
Well, you're fine. It's okay. It's a debate.
It just
interpret
happens.
the question.
Yeah.
My bad.
But you're fine. But you answered the questions, and it does me good to know that that the next generation coming behind us is involved. Don't leave it to us older guys to solve your problems and tell you what the problems are. Do them yourself. Figure out the problem. Hey, we're gonna take a commercial break. We get back. We're gonna have the Dr. Ryan Goke and Samuel Miller come on. We're gonna have you a post-debate conversation, which what I'm good at.
Yeah, we'll have a good.
And we're gonna find out what they think, how he thinks they done. Don't forget, find the polls, vote in them, vote who you think presented their side the best. Hey, we'll take a commercial break. We'll be right back.
Shattering the image of standard nursing homes and committed to enhancing the human spirit, Charter Senior Living of Paris is focused on removing barriers that can prevent your success and a better life. A unique boutique community with many wonderful amenities, we offer various levels of quality care in an apartment and floor plan of your choosing.
The care that Mom has received here has been phenomenal.
Move-in day was such a happy day. The caregivers there were so wonderful.
It was the best choice that we've ever made.
Learn more and request your free resource guide at charterparis.com or give us a call today. When physical assistance becomes a necessity, enjoy the peace of mind you deserve.
Chad Cox, PLLC, provides representation in the areas of criminal law, family law, personal injury, wills and probate law. Chad Cox serves Paris and the surrounding area. He does not believe in a one-size-fits-all approach to representing his clients. He reviews every detail of your case to ensure that you receive an assessment that is specific to the unique circumstances in your case. Chad Cox is located at 104 North Brewer Street, Paris, Tennessee. Contact us at 731-642-4446.
The Downtown Event Center is available for parties, meetings, or family get-togethers. The center comes with spacious seating and an area that will help make serving food easier. If you are having a birthday party, this is definitely the place for you. The Downtown Event Center is located at 107 South Brewer Street. Contact Jessica at 731-642-4992 to make your reservation.
Is your tank on empty? For best gas prices in town, fill up at 54 Fuel Mart, 1213A Westwood Street. And don't forget your other tank. Grab hot fried chicken, wings, pizza, and on Tuesdays and Fridays, the best fried fish around. Got a sweet tooth? We've got freeze-dried candies, candy bars, and more. Rainy day? Stay dry and use our drive-up window. Farmers? We've got your dyed diesel plus parking for big rigs. Open 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. If you're feeling lucky, play the lottery or grab a scratch-off while you're here. 54 Fuel Mart at the Westwood Y. More than just fuel.
Are you still undecided about your high-speed internet provider? Hey, it's Mike from the Mike Weatherford Show. Let me help you off the fence. TEC high-speed internet is what we use here at the studio, and let me tell you, it's flawless. From home to business, TEC got you covered. With upload speeds that match download speed, TEC leads the pack. Does your family play online games? How about security cameras and live streamers in your home? TEC, with their upload speed matching their download speed, it's as fast as clicking a button. When it comes to high-speed fiber optic internet, TEC is unmatched with quality and service all across the Mid-South. So do like I did. Go get you some.
Hey everyone, this is Jeremy Buckaloo reminding you to tune in to Sportscast with Jeremy Buckaloo live every Sunday night at 7:30 here from the Brewer Street Mafia Studios.
All right, fans, don't forget, next week, the LBL Massacre. What still haunts those woods over there? I'm going to unmask the beast of LBL. Look, there is a retired police officer that was deer hunting in LBL and got attacked. Was it a Bigfoot? Was it a Mothman? Was it anything, or was it just Kevin Keel, my producer, walking around with no shoes on? Because he's got feet that looks like I don't know what. But anyway, I'm going to have Stephen Causey. He's the author of the book called The LBL Massacre. Here's a good possibility that the gentleman that this book's written about, Mr. Grove, will be in live. He's the one that was the retired police officer that can tell us play by play what went on at LBL. This is a great story. Believe in Bigfoot, believe in monsters. That's up to you. I'm going to bring it to you and let you decide, are we alone or do we have monsters at LBL? That's going to be coming up next week right here live on the Mike Weatherford Show. Hey, don't forget, over at Sportscast Live with Jeremy Buckaloo, defending the crown, Coach Kerr's winning formula. How do you keep a team hungry after success? Cliff Kerr will be here. The Lady Patriots' road to a nettle title begins. You don't forget, it's coming up Sunday at 7:30 live, Sportscast with Jeremy Buckaloo. Hey, if you haven't found him yet, go find him on Facebook, YouTube, all the platforms. Like him, ring his bell, and go watch Sportscast Live with Jeremy Buckaloo. Don't forget, on the other show, the Tennessee Informer, Faith or Fanaticism. Inside the Islamic Agenda, Are We Prepared? Special roundtable discussion with Kathy Heiners, Shalon Hadadudeh, whatever that name is, and David. Where do they get these names? Jesus Christ, where's the Smith and Joneses go? But anyway, that's going to be coming up live on the Tennessee Informer next Monday, November the 3rd, 7 p.m. You don't want to miss it. And don't forget, the Rotary Auction's coming up Saturday, November the 8th. That's going on at Bethel University, Vera Road School at 6 p.m. More details will be coming out soon, so don't forget, save that date, find them, find out what's going on Saturday, November the 8th at the Bethel University. Don't forget the peddler. Hey, go pick you up a peddler and look inside of it. You can find all the shows coming up on the Mike Weatherford Show and all the shows at myparishtv.com. You can find them all right there in the peddler. And look, while you're at it, place your 20-word classified to run for 4 weeks for only $10. Hey, they serve thousands of these things. They're all across the county. It's not just local. It's about 4 or 5 different counties. The Peddler Advantage is where to go to find out what you want to buy, what you want to sell, and keep up with what's going on right here, the Mike Weatherford Show. Hey, don't forget, I got a great way for you to get some free internet. I can get you 12 months of high-speed fiber optic internet for $0. All you got to do, if you're already a TEC subscriber, get your family and your friends to come on board, and we'll give you a free month. Hey, there's no limit to it. You could possibly, it's just coming out real strong. It's fiber optic, the fastest internet. It's the speed of light. If you've got yours, get your friends and family on board, and we'll get you free internet. Hey, what better way to do it? Tell them Mike sent you to. And don't forget, Veterans Day coming up November 11th, 2025, honoring all who served. Trinity UMC over on Wilson Street. I can't really see that. Y'all can help me if you can see it. Yeah, here it is, right in front of me. Everyone is welcome. It's going to happen on at 6 p.m. November 11th of 2025. And don't forget, we're simulcasting live. Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, the platforms. I don't know. They're everywhere. We're all over the place. All you got to do is find us. And do me a favor. When you find the show, when you like the show, click on the buttons. Follow us, like us, tell your friends, tell your family we want to grow this show. We want to be your go-to place for all the things we all want to know about. So we're back. Patrick,
Yay. Yeah.
we lived through another one.
We did. You know, and I was just thinking, Mike, while you were doing your advertisements there, that I was going to put a 20-word ad in the Peddler for $10 and offer a reward for somebody to catch Bigfoot in Stewart County.
I'll split it with you.
That'd be awesome.
It'd be fine. Bring us Bigfoot.
Yeah, can we get, how many words can we get? And do you have $10 I can borrow?
I got $10.
Cool.
I can borrow 5 up from Doc over here.
Yeah.
So we got you money, bro.
Good.
That'd be pretty cool. You know, hey, Kevin, the producer of my show, said he's going to come out here because he says that he's a Bigfoot. He looks for Bigfoot. He looks for him. That's the key word. Looks for him.
He's always hunting.
Yeah, he's hunting. He's never found one.
He never catching.
He's
tell
always
everybody, hunting.
Bigfoot is the world champion hide and go seek.
He's winning.
So nobody
every
ever found
time.
him. But that's going to be pretty cool. All right, Dr. Ryan. Goke, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
What do you think about it? What happened?
Well, I told you I'd bring some good people.
You did. Bring smart people.
And it was split right down the middle the whole time on that poll. So
really?
Yeah.
Hey, if you haven't, tell them where to find that poll. Because look, we don't need a 50-50 tie.
We don't. No, we need
got
to break that tie.
have a winner. So tell them where to go find it.
You can find it on our link right there. QR code. You can find it on the Murray State Facebook page, Instagram story, as well as the Mike Weatherford Show.
That's right.
The Murray State SDU page.
Yeah. Go find it. Don't let it tie. Somebody won it.
Somebody did.
They did. Somebody won.
It's close.
It is very close. You know, that is good.
It is. Yeah.
You know, we don't want to run away, but I hope they're voting for who did the best job, not for what they believe.
Yep.
You know, but tell me a little bit about you guys you had in here. Tell me a little bit about
how'd they do.
How'd they do?
They did great. I think that one of the things that's difficult about the style of debate we do is that you're expected to be an expert in all things. Right? Like we crafted this conversation. It's on current events, so they should be up on that. But like still, you know, the norm for what we prep is 30 minutes.
Right.
And then they got to go debate. Right. So they had a little bit more time this time, but they didn't know what your questions were going to be.
No,
they still had to be knowledgeable. They had all the titles, all the numbers. They kept them straight for the most part. Like they did a really good job.
They did a great job.
Yeah, they did.
You know, I think they're a little bit intimidation. Could be with the lights and cameras. Honestly, it could be a little bit of that. But they handled it well.
They did. I couldn't get over how polite they were in their conversation back and forth, which was making it a little difficult to draw that contrast. I know a lot of the times, you know, that's what Mike and I will do when we talk about it, is that what we want to do is in our questions is to even help draw the contrast between people. And it was a little difficult with their positivity.
I've trained them to be nice.
They're very nice.
Like that, so, you can't get that out of them.
Do you have in your mind who won?
I don't want to influence the poll. I'll give you a opinion later. I'll tell you later. I think that both of them did a really good job taking your question and your question and pivoting to either what they thought was the winning argument for them, even sometimes reframing that question. And that's something we do a lot in IPDA style. You've got cross-examination. I'm asking you questions, you're asking me questions, and I'm obviously trying to trap you.
Right.
And I'm trying to get them on that landmine, as you would call it. Right. And I think that they might be almost too on alert for that because they're like trying not to get trapped.
Yeah, we didn't throw them nothing.
No, you didn't. No, it's just in there.
I think our question could have been, they was broadband. I realize that, but we didn't know what to expect from them. I didn't know. I didn't want to have I wanted to throw them questions that made them think.
Right.
That was our goal.
Yeah.
But also answerable questions.
Right.
And I think we may have hit that goal.
I think so.
Did we cover what the popular opinion is? Sure.
Yeah.
You know, we hit everything. You know, people argue that National Guard can't be used against the public. You know, the military. Well, you know,
their explanations of all of the different titles, in either way that they were given their view, was staggering. Just the amount of information they knew, Mike. what are they, 18, 21?
18, 19, 20, 21, somewhere in there.
And understanding all of that, and even as Dr. Goke said, 30 minutes or longer for prepreration. I know 50-year-olds that don't know that.
I can, in my mind, the way I'm not real smart. Y'all showed that tonight. I don't need a lot of prep. These notes, sure, I have to have, but I do everything off the cuff because I think you can have a brain lock if you study too much.
You can.
You go over the facts, go over the facts, go over the facts. It's like your mind says, damn it, I've had enough.
Yeah.
And it blocks it out. And I think, in my opinion, you're better off coming off the cuff. Knowing your subject, knowing the topic is one thing, but don't over-rehearse.
Right.
And these guys tonight, I didn't see none of that.
No, I could tell, that they had studied.
Sure.
There was no
Watch
doubt.
their eyes.
Yeah, I could
Your
see.
eyes will tell her when they kind of got that.
Yeah.
They're having to make that mind, that computer. They had to reboot and bring it back up to the front. What did you think?
I think we get debate wrong a lot because when you see presidential debate, it's not really a debate. It's I hate this guy. Yeah,
that's all that is. Yeah.
It's petty, and I think tonight they focus on what debate should be about, and that is facts.
Yeah.
I feel like both of them, whether each individual won or lost, they succeeded in teaching people.
On their side.
I think both people see the other side better, and they see both sides better.
I think they did.
And I think that's what debate is about. It's not
That's
really
a great
about I'm right,
explanation.
you're
Yeah.
wrong. It's
Yeah.
about, sure, you're wrong, but here's why.
Well, that or could it be, well, I understand your side, here's my side.
Yeah, it should be a mutual conversation
It should
between
be.
both of them.
Well, we've lost that.
Yeah.
In this country. There's families that split. It's like we're living in the second Civil War. There's families fighting against families, and Facebook friends are getting blocked. Hell, my
People can't come to Christmas.
Yeah, my Facebook is self-cleaning. They block. No, I don't block nobody. They just block themselves.
Yeah.
But imagine Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
What it's going to be like. Somebody's not going to be sitting there because they said something the other side didn't like.
Yeah.
Get over it, dude.
That's a great
I'll
skill.
get out in the yard
They're
and
doing.
fight.
Yeah.
Go back the old school
Well, it's much
way.
easier to block somebody
Yeah.
than it is to engage them in conversation.
Yeah.
And even look at how many times.
But you're usually right when they do that. If somebody calls you a name, labels you something, you've won the debate.
Well,
And usually
it could
you're
be
agreeing.
taken that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we're debating, you say, Mike, you're whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna smile. I
Yeah.
just won because you can't come back. You got to label me something.
Yep.
Or in Facebook and YouTube land and Spotify and all them places, just block them, honey. Push that button, Patrick, block them.
Yep. No more.
I don't block nobody.
Look at how many times they didn't even just have to. I mean, they were assigned a side to represent, but
Sure.
they were even on the. You would ask a question, they have the same answer, but then they would spin it
They
to
did
their
it.
side.
I noticed that.
They could agree on the policy portion, but here's the moral difference, or something like
They
that.
both have got a future in politics. They know how to spin questions
they
and
do.
answers.
And that's a great point too, because if you, in listening to them, it was you had to really follow them, and that would be what you would expect out of a politician, right? If I had two Republicans here, I would get a very similar answer, but they would have to distinguish
Or blame
their
the other
point.
one.
Or blame.
I blame the other one. That's what if I was a politician running against you, and I had never been, you're a seasoned politician. You've been in this office for a long time, and he asked a question, and I don't know the answer. I'm gonna say, well, I don't know the answer, but he's the reason why you asked the question. He messed it up. Let me go fix it.
And we tried to tell him to, maybe bring a little of that sparring into it. And
but I thought they went well.
pretty good.
But I hope we didn't let you down.
Oh,
Patrick
absolutely
and I.
not.
I think they got some good exposure.
Of course.
I think they was real nice kids. I want to meet them again before we leave.
And you can see them in person or live next week.
Put it back up there, Kevin.
November 6th at 7 p.m. Rather Auditorium. That is at Murray State's campus. We will be live streaming it. Love to have people watch. It'll be different.
This is
people
the
debating.
IPDA style.
It will be.
What does that stand for?
International Public Debate.
There's an A on the end of it.
That's the association.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
We dropped that. That part's not important.
I got you.
But yeah, we'll be
But I'm gonna tell you
spotlighting
something.
that.
Look at there. There they are. Right
there it is. I love that.
We need to
That
put
is
out
so cool.
a huge thank you to Professor Ed Rohde in
cool.
journalism and mass comm, as well as his visual communication students. They took all those photos. They came up with the idea of what if the STU was WWE wrestling, and what would we do, right? They did a great job with that.
The guy in the front, that is Caleb.
That's Caleb. That's the president.
He looks like that guy off of the old, what was that show, Karate Kid, where he's standing.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That's focused.
They are good kids.
They are.
Off the camera, they're polite.
Yep.
They've got a sense of humor.
They're funny.
They're funny. They're funny.
They're brutally sarcastic sometimes
they are.
too.
Yeah. But they're gullible. I got them 3 or 4 times.
You did. They trusted you.
Yeah, they did. They'll know better.
They'll know better.
Yeah.
Okay, what we got right here.
They've got the Commonwealth Honors Academy. So 5 out of my 6 students, and Miller's sitting next to me here. He's one of these students. This is a program that Murray State has for rising seniors in high school. And they can come out to Murray State's campus for 3 weeks, take honors classes, and this is how you get the STEM students that get suckered into debate, is because Colton took a debate class with me, and he showed up and was like, I'd like to do this. I said, great.
Yeah.
Please. So, yes, 5 out of my 6 students. Yeah. Caleb is the only one, and that was Jillian Rosa, my GA who graduated. She recruited him. Everybody else come from that pipeline.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
They're great. They're young, but they understand, and that's what makes me feel good.
Yeah,
is the next generation that's going to replace the older guys like us. They kind of know what's going on. You know, they don't just That's what about the newsletter?
So we have a Substack newsletter that you can subscribe to. If you go to our Facebook page, there's a link. We'll be posting that again. Basically, after every tournament, you can see exactly how the students have done. We just got back from the Crimson Classic hosted by the University of Alabama. Colton won the novice IPDA debate. You can see why. He's done an excellent job. Yeah. And I think that especially contrasting our seasoned president against the novice freshman, right? You see that there's skill and there's mentorship there, right? Every one of these students, Harless, Miller, Caleb, they've all come back and now they have to teach that new generation, those 3 students that we got this year.
Where's
and then they contend with them. The poll,
it's still 50-50. We got to have one.
No, we're up by 1 vote.
On which side?
Okay, so do we want to announce it now? We want to call it?
No, we don't want to call it yet.
We're up by
We're going to keep the poll
and
up.
It's switched. It keeps going back and forth.
It does. That's pretty cool.
They're running neck and
that's
neck.
what I want.
Yeah.
It was, and to be honest, the viewers are exactly right.
Yeah.
It can go either way. They both presented their case well.
Your vote matters.
That's right. Your vote matters, but only vote once. I'm just no mail-ins, okay?
Caleb's out there voting.
Right.
He's just out
spamming the chat.
Yeah. But that tells you that it's that close, and that's what it needs to be, because this is a serious problem. And another thing that I want to stress, Patrick and Doctor, is the people that didn't really understand what was going on legally, morally with the National Guard being deployed. These young men did a great job of telling you the point. So the news media, what you're hearing on the news and what you heard tonight, there's going to be some difference, because news media tends to want to steer you the way they lean, right or left. Yeah. These guys give you the titles, everything legally. It was very impressive. They knew what it was. So pay attention. Go back and read it again and pay attention of it. And if you want to argue with your neighbors and be fighting and run your Thanksgiving, they give you the facts.
They gave you all the ammunition you need.
They give you all the ammunition to argue with.
It'll be great.
Or everybody can't be like me, a trophy boyfriend.
Oh, no.
I don't
I'm
have
just
to
a show
argue.
pony.
Dana does that for me. That's what I am. Just a
Wait a
trophy
minute. You
boy.
can't be both.
I am a show pony. When we're going out somewhere, I have to walk one step ahead. I feel like a show pony. All I need is one of them feathers in my hat flopping. You know what I'm talking about? Those show. That's what I feel. It's a rough life.
Braid it into the hair, put it under the hat.
Yeah, it feels bad. She'll say, "Step it up, show pony." I mean, it's a hard job. Everybody thinks it's easy, but it's very exhausting.
I want to come back to our STEM student, because and the reason.
Let's talk more about the show pony.
Oh, well, let's talk about the STEM student, and the reason is because what Dr. Goke is doing here with this debate team and bringing in these guys from the math and science side of campus is something when I go to campuses like Murray State and speak to the STEM students, speak to the engineers, like, you guys need to go over to the humanities side of campus and get some soft skills. But because what you're teaching, I was kind of talking to the students out there, it gives you the ability to develop the skills to talk on your feet.
It does.
To be able to pull your words together and be able to.
They're in my ear. Get off that phone. I thought God was talking to me. I was looking at the pole.
Yeah. So, but to be able to give, your opinion. So it's not just attorneys or whatnot.
So when we went to our first in-person tournament for Alabama a few weeks ago, we went to Olive Garden for dinner, and we sat around that family-style table. And it was a 2-hour dinner time of them just bouncing around over all kinds of topics. And this was organic. I didn't give them that topic. They were just like, it would come and they're like, oh, you had this type of schooling. What's that like? Here's what I think could be better or worse about that.
Great.
Like, they just jump around.
You know, that kind of debate cures cancer. That kind of conversation invents. It does.
It
does.
You got to have the dialogue.
When you have that dialogue, it can cure cancer. It can invent anything. That's how it works. Do you think somebody was just sitting there one day and designed the internet? No. That's what Al Gore said, but he lied. But I mean, he did say that, right or wrong?
Yeah, no,
he did. He did. Yeah,
he wouldn't been.
But it was a group of people. I've got an idea, and they all started talking about it.
Right.
That's how it happens.
Well, and
it's discussion. You know, I do it at my business. I have to have a conversation with my guys. You do too. As an engineer, you talk. This is the issue with my sticklers. The point is the car, and they all give me their opinions and debate it and going on, and the end result is we fixed the automobile.
Well, and that's how our prep runs too. So last night we had practice, and what we're trying to predict is what major events are happening right now. What do we need to brush up on? Obviously, coming on this show, we all did a crash course on the National Guard, made sure that we knew all the terms, and you saw that. And while we had two particular people presenting that, you had people who haven't even been on screen yet on my team who were bringing up issues that were brought up in this debate from their own experience.
I think that would be interesting, Mike, if we had some of those kids come in and maybe if they had an answer that they wanted to give to something, to follow up because they were the prep, for something.
There's always part two.
Yeah, that we could do a part two.
Yeah, I would like to. I'd like to network with you and your group and whole college. I have a studio we can use for a lot of different projects.
That'd be great. Just do a long form discussion.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I don't have to be involved. I have a studio. We have 2 studios.
You're a good reporter, though. I think that would be fun to have you.
We have 2 studios. So we got another studio over across the way here. So so we got 2 locations.
Yeah. Well, for your viewers, if you're interested in seeing that type of stuff,
let us know.
Our page
let us know. You got to show the views. Yeah. I run my show off of like everybody else. You know what the viewers want to see, but man, I appreciate it.
Thank
coming
you
in tonight. I think it went well.
I do too.
Go on, put that poll up one more time. Do me a favor, go vote in the poll. We'll probably leave it up a little while, but we got to declare a winner here pretty quick. I'd like to be able to announce it, but it's too close to call. We're going to go to bed like a presidential election. You wake up in the morning. And we're still trying to figure out who in the hell.
No hanging chads.
No hanging chads. Or no. I promise you that we will not let any votes be brung in the middle of the night. There won't be none of that. There's a straw poll. Click that app right there and it'll carry you right to it, or find it on our website. Do me a favor. Go vote. And like I said, I'm going to stress this. Don't vote on what side you think is what you think the best debater done, how they presented their case. It may be right opposite from what you truly believe, like myself, but I am going to vote who I think presented their case the best. And it could be I don't agree with him, but if he presented his case. And that's what I've learned. I got to let everybody go. That's what I've learned as a host is you have to stay neutral. And that's been hard to do when you've been opinionated your whole entire life like I have. I've given my opinion, but when I turn the microphone off, I light your hind end up. But during the show, I don't want you to know what I think because I'm sick of watching the news left and right. No matter where you go, Fox, CNN, we'll use those 2. I don't want all that. I want the news like Walter Cronkite used to do it, and I'll make my mind up. I am that smart. I can decide if you just give me,
present it.
Don't tell me about the birth. Just show me the baby. I appreciate it, man. We had a good time.
We did.
What about my crew, guys?
They're great.
I got an excellent.
Awesome. They make this part easy.
That's what I tell everybody.
It looks good.
It does. They got a good crew. All right, folks, don't forget, coming up next week, we have got a great show. We got the LBL Massacre. What still haunts those woods? Land Between the Lakes is in our backyard. Is Bigfoot monster over there? Is it the Mothman, Wolfman, or is it just Kevin Kill, my producer? I don't know. I've got Steve Causey going to come in. He wrote the book, The LBL Massacre, and there's a great possibility that the guy that the book is written about, which his name is Grove, he's a retired policeman now, but he was a policeman when he was deer hunting in LBL and got attacked. And so, this man was a police officer. That gives him a little bit more leverage when it comes to convincing old Mike is there Bigfoots. So tune in and let's find out. And Kevin, my producer, said he's going to come out here and talk a little bit about it because he said he's up on this. He's that type.
He is.
Yeah. He says, "Stop laughing." I'm not laughing at you, brother. I love you.
I can't wait to meet Bigfoot. I know that Kevin's going to be the one to bring him to us.
Kevin's going to bring him in the studio one day. So here he is, Mike.
Here he is.
But I'm going to say it once again. Bigfoot is the world champion hide and go seek.
He's a winner.
He's won it all the time.
Winner. Not it.
Winner. That's coming up next Tuesday. Don't forget, over at my sister station, Jeremy Buckalow, Sportscast Live with Jeremy Buckalow has got Defending the Crown, Coach Curd winning formula. He's going to be in here telling you all about the Lady Patriots' road to another title begins here. That's coming up Sunday, 7:30 p.m. live on Facebook. And don't forget, Tennessee Inform, another one of our shows. It's coming up Monday, November the 3rd, Faith or Fanatism. How you say that word?
Fanaticism.
Why they give me them kind of words? What the hell? It's a test.
Thank
It's
God
always
it's not
a
spelling
test. That's right. I can spell it. I just can't say it. Inside the Islam Agenda. Are we prepared? Hey, I had an interview with a Muslim one time. I did a great show. It's a great show. I do all that kind of stuff. I talk to these people, and that was a great show. But anyway, I want to thank my crew in the back. I want to thank my sponsors first. My sponsors and my viewers. Without you, I couldn't do what I do, which is sit up here and
look pretty.
Well, that's debatable. We may have a debate on Mike next time. That would be a great humble host. Debate him. Is he a show pony? Is he a trophy boyfriend? Is he humble? I won. I heard it in my ear. But anyway, hey, I want to thank you, the viewer. I want to thank all you sponsors for tuning in. And if you haven't done it yet, follow me. Tell your friends to follow me, because we're going to bring you great stuff like always. We got Murray State probably going to be on board. I think he'll be on board with us.
Absolutely.
We're going to do some more stuff together, bringing you, because I want to be your go-to place for all the things we all want to know about. I want to thank my crew in the back, my producer Kevin Keel, Scott Norwood, Biddy Busey, and Dana Allen. Honestly, they do all the heavy hauling. I get to ride up here in the seat, but them guys in the back, and everybody's been on my show can tell you I'm telling the truth. They are top notch. I'll put them up against anybody. We're a TV show. We just ain't got a channel. And I want to thank you again, the viewer. Tune in, watch us. And we'll be back next week, same time, same place. And like I always say, don't be late. The Mike Weatherford Show is recorded live in the Brewer Street Mafia Studios in downtown Paris. A Kill Media, Brewer Street Mafia Productions.